Welcome. In front of me is a POCO X5 Pro from Xiaomi, and it's their brand new device that they have just released. So I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this device and see if it's, well, how good it is and if it's really worth the money. So anyway, just pop it straight open. Okay, so there we go. Now that the unboxing is over, we can get a quick glance at the display, which should be visible in its fullest in a second. So this is a AMOLED display, 1 billion colors, 120 Hz refresh rate, Dolby Vision, HDR10 Plus, and a typical brightness of 500 nits and 900 nits peak brightness. Now that the device is on in the white background, you can get a quick look on the bezels and just how big the display right here is, and it looks pretty nice in person. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but the display actually feels or looks really nice. One thing that I'll also mention while holding this device, it has this kind of like iPhone-ish, almost like feel to it, with the very sharp, just kind of like chamfered edges right here. I think that's the word. So yeah, it looks, has basically angles all around, like 90 degrees, as you can see. It's a bit more boxy in the design, which some people don't like. Some people just prefer something that has a little bit more rounded edges, so it fits or sits better in the hand. Obviously, this device is not it. Now, let's quickly go through the setup. One thing that I'll also mention right here while I'm going to the setup, we do have a pre-applied screen protector, as you can see around the camera. Hopefully if I can get the light correctly, there we go. You can see this kind of like weirdness around it. You can also see right here. So yeah, so you don't need to actually worry about just having to buy some kind of screen protector right away for this device, because it comes with one pre-applied. Now let's quickly go through the setup just so we can see the UI of the device. Now it will be the typical Xiaomi experience, so UI here isn't necessarily any different than any other Xiaomi device, but if you've never seen it before, I just kind of want to showcase this right off the bat. It is most certainly not a stock Android experience for the people that are looking for something along those lines. We have several bloatware applications that come preloaded with this device, which again, not necessarily something that I like to see. Come on. Anyway, while this is loading the apps, I'm gonna maybe first touch upon the cameras at the back. So we have a main sensor at 108 megapixel wide sensor, f1.9 with PDAF focus. Then we have an 8 megapixel ultra wide f2.2, and then we got the cream of the crop, the shit camera that you might expect, the 2 megapixel macro, which here is as useful as a, you know what, I'm not gonna finish that one because that probably wouldn't be very advertiser friendly. So yeah, just to kind of clarify this, the 2 megapixel sensor, when you have 108 megapixel wide sensor, is absolutely effing useless. The reason for that is, no matter what you do, how crappily you take that 108 megapixel sensor or photo with that sensor, you will always come up with a better result for a macro shot than the dedicated macro lens can produce at 2 megapixels. That is probably the case without even zooming. Now, if you zoom in to 2 times, which still produces significantly higher resolution of a photo, you will just blow this tiny little crap camera out of the water. And it's, like I said, absolutely useless on here. Anyway, at the front, with the cutout right here, we have a 16 megapixel wide sensor. Now with all these cameras, at least at the back, you can shoot at 1080p, at 30, 60 and slow motion 120 and 4K 30 frames. And at the front, you can do 1080p, 30 and 60. So that is pretty nice. And all this is being powered, the processing behind this video recording is being powered by Snapdragon 778G, which is a 5G processor. We also internally have a couple options, so we have 128 gigs of storage with 6 gigs of RAM, or 256 gigs of storage with 8 gigs of RAM. And to be honest, this does not vary all that much from the non-Pro version of this device, so the X5, as I have one right here. Appearance-wise, they're very similar. This one has just a little bit more, the edges are a little bit flatter than here. And it comes with a better processor and a tiny bit better display. But in general, they're very close together. Now, moving on, let's quickly get a look at the, where is it, right here, at the tray. Come on. Oh damn, that is like, I needed to push that unsettlingly hard in there. And unlike the non-Pro version, this one has no expandable storage, so whatever you get it with, that's what you get. So 128 or 256, which is a little bit of a shame because the non-Pro version comes with the same kind of storage options, and yet it still manages to have the option to put in a SIM and an SD card. Here we don't have that, unfortunately. Not sure why. Now, moving on into the battery section right here, we have a 5000 mAh battery, so pretty big cell right here. And with that 67 watt charging, we should be topping out this device without much of a problem. It has power delivery 3.0 or quick charge 4, so it should be charging your device really quickly. And I want to point this out and kind of focus on this. Charging a device at like 5000 mAh battery and having a decent charging speed for that is a really nice thing to have. And it's one of those things that you don't really pay much attention till you lose it. And I'm just gonna kind of point it out to Samsung devices. This stupidly overpriced brick comes with 22 watts charging. Not only does it have a small battery, big display that needs to be powered, it also has a shit charging beyond belief. And it's one of those things that once you realize your battery is kind of dead, you'd normally just plug it in and with expectations, yeah, I'm just gonna charge it for like 10 minutes, 20 max. Now before I, for instance, leave for work, I should be good to go. On devices that come with like 22 watts charging like Samsung, good luck, you're not getting much battery here. But with 67 watts charging, you should be good to go for the rest of the day, which is, it's an amazing thing to have when you realize that your phone is, well, low on battery and you know that you need to leave in a couple minutes. Just pop it in and it should last you for basically the rest of the day. Just a super nice thing to have. Now, going over a couple of things about this device, we have a headphone jack right at the top, along with a speaker grill at the top and bottom, as you can see. Microphone, SIM tray, Type-C charging port, nothing on the left side, just a clean side. Then we got volume rockers, power button that doubles as a fingerprint sensor. We also have an IR blaster, which I didn't mention, right here. So you can use this device as a remote control for different appliances like AC units, TVs, just some like boxes or TV boxes and stuff like that. And this will just function no problem. It also comes with an app for this baked into the device itself, so that's nice. And at the back, we just have a plastic back, unfortunately. So yeah, this is plastic. The lenses will be glass, so don't worry about that one. And we have a plastic frame as well. So pretty budget kind of build quality right here. And at the front, we have a Gorilla Glass 5. And also a screen protector on top of that, which is nice. So there we go. Now to quickly finish this off with the price tag right here, we are looking at about $270 US. And to be completely honest, this, if this is actually correct, which honestly I think it might not be, but if it is, if it's just like a $20 difference between these two devices, then I would most certainly recommend for going for the more expensive one. $20 isn't much, but you get significantly better looking display right here with the Dolby Vision certifications and all that stuff. Significantly better. It's not that much better, to be honest. I'm gonna actually give you both comparisons right here just so you can see how it looks like. Let me actually bring out the brightness right here. So there we go. This one is a little bit brighter, so it's right now blowing out the camera, I think. So I'm gonna lower it down. And the wallpapers aren't the same. So again, they don't really compare that well to each other. But in person, this display looks better. Also, the screen to body ratio right here is much better. So the display looks almost like a showpiece right here. So it's pretty nice looking as a display alone. And in both of these cases, this and the cheaper version, the non-pro version of this phone, the display right here for both of them is basically the showpiece. The basically majority of the price went into that display. But with this one, you actually also get a better processor. And only at $20 increased price tag, increase in the processor, the better processor that you get right here, is a money that is just, you shouldn't even think twice about it. Just go for this, just because the performance of this device will be significantly better than the 695 processor that you get on the non-pro version. This has 778G. Both of them are almost identical in the rest of the aspects, maybe apart from camera. Here we also have a better camera at 108 megapixels. Now to quickly go over the good and the bad parts of this device, let's just quickly knock that out, just so you know what you're dealing with listed. Obviously, main star of the show is the display itself. It's a really nice display, bright, high refresh rate, decent, good resolution right here. That basically has the same one for like flagship Samsung devices, apart from the Ultras. So this is what you're looking for. Anyway, really good battery life at 5000 milliamp hours. That is a really good battery here. Really good charging speed at 67 watts. You should be good to go for any kind of in any kind of situations. We have 6 or 8 gigs of RAM. Again, pretty decent amount of RAM in both cases for a relatively budget price. Decent processor. It won't be the flagship processor like some other devices, but it's still powerful enough to get you through everything that you're gonna toss at it, even some light gaming. Now, I don't think you're gonna be running Genshin Impact on here on 120 Hz, so don't think about that one. But some other lighter games should be running here without any kind of problem. And because of that huge battery cell, you should also be able to game for a little bit longer than you might expect. And moving on to the bad parts of this device. Starting off will be the build quality, just plastic back, plastic frame. Obviously that isn't necessarily the most robust materials on the market. So yeah, it's a downside. Next, the 2 megapixel sensor right here, just F off with it. It's completely useless and has zero purpose to be on this device. You get to pay for it, but you don't get to use it. If you do, you're doing this wrong, because it's, like I said, absolutely useless. It should not be used. And next is the lack of SD tray on here. The non-pro version of this device comes with an SD tray, and if you don't believe me, I'm just gonna grab it and whip it out just so you can see. So there we go, SD tray right up here. So you basically pay 20 bucks more to have a better device that doesn't really come with a SD tray. And the storage options right here cap out at 256, which isn't that much. So a lot of people might be looking for more storage, which at this point, the only thing that you're left with is this, which is kind of stupid. And last thing that I would consider a negative, at least in my case, is the skin that Xiaomi includes. It's one of those things that I don't really like. I like their devices in general just because they are relatively cheap. The price is super competitive, and the devices themselves as a hardware are good. But what isn't good is their software, where it's just bloated up the ass with just look at this. So we come with Amazon Shop, AliExpress, Booking.com, some stupid games. We have also more games. I believe they aren't even downloaded, so when you try to open it up, it's gonna tell you to download it, which is even more annoying. So we have a bunch of like this bloatware kind of popped in here. You can just hold it and remove it, luckily. But this might not be the case for every application, and some of them you won't be able to remove. Obviously, another thing, some people won't be a big fan of their just skin of Android. So just to kind of give you a quick glance on how this looks like by default. So here we have our toggles, and they do have toggles and notifications in a single shade, which is I do prefer myself. And now to go into the settings. That's kind of how the settings looks like. So like I mentioned, not everybody will be a fan of how they're skinning the Android. But yeah, the bloatware probably is one of the main things that you will realize. Like we have Opera right here. We have some POCO, whatever, Share Me, whatever that is. This could be just some kind of Xiaomi sharing application, but I haven't never used it. So yeah, so that would be, in my opinion, a downside. I do prefer to, or like to see more of a stock Android experience that isn't as changed as this one is. But yeah, anyway, this would conclude my overview of the device, the negative, the positives of this phone. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.